Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord. In the last episode, we built these two very different residential neighborhoods. We have the one on the south side here with very vanilla buildings, which, I don't know, I still think, 8 years later, they still look pretty good. And they're a pretty good fit because they're tall. They're nicely tapering down on the other side of our downtown here. And then we finally got to use some of the Brooklyn and Queens assets, which also beautiful buildings, absolutely well designed, lots of detail, and I think it makes for a really great working class blue collar neighborhood. And this is great because these people are able to work now in this agricultural area, right? It started out as a very agricultural, pastoral farmland, really, but now we've got a ton of traffic, we've got rail yards, we've got factories, and hey, that's the pace of progress. So what are we doing today? We're actually going to zoom out and we're going to come all the way over to a brand new patch of land. And I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been eyeing up this patch of land for, I don't know, the better part of a year. We don't have a serious fishing industry in town. And if you take a look at our exports, we're not doing much in the way of fish. In fact, you can barely see it. It's just a little slice of pink, I think. Well, maybe not even. Maybe that might be goods. So really, we're not really exporting fish, period, right? We're going to change that today. We're going to start exporting a lot of goods from this area, turning this whole thing into a a harbor, as it says right here. And this is going to be 12 fishing harbors. We're going to probably put in that amount of fish factories. We're going to do on this side is going to be a shipyard where we build ships, and we're going to put in a massive rail yard up here. So this is a very ambitious build. I'm kind of scared, but we're going to do this in a couple sittings. Hopefully the end result to you is about an hour video, but I'm going to just get right into it. But as always, first we need to do some fixes. The first thing I want to do is actually get into our policies, and we want something called the tourist travel card, right? The city offers affordable intercity bus tickets to people living in the surrounding cities, 8% more tourists, and increase intercity bus network by 15. Totally worth it. All the money that those people will bring for an 8% boost versus only really, we'll have one intercity bus terminal, which we put in last episode. It's over here. It's very well used. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 platforms, maybe 5 being used. Yeah, this one lone guy here. A lot of intercity bus traffic now, so hopefully that will only get to be more and more and more. So that's the easy part. Next part, I want to look at the bus line that we set up going through Auxjack over here. Not very well used, so let's take a look. 14 passengers in the one direction and 47 in the other. I think we can do better. So we're going to rethink these lines entirely and actually run them through the neighboring community of Fjalleson. And we're going to go, instead of going down the collector here, we're just going to go straight through and around, and I think this is going to make for a lot more utilization on this line. So let's fix that. Okay, great. So what we've done is we've put this running right through Auxjack, crossing the highway and going down a road that actually we don't have any transit on in Fjalleson, and hopefully that'll do a little bit of extra access for people. Then we come down through the tunnel and in front of the stadium, in front of the subway station here, and back to the bus depot. So we'll check how that does by the end of the episode, and we'll move on. So bouncing out of here back to our fish area. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a tricky one because we're dealing with quay walls and a lot of flooding. So I'm going to try to do a bit of terraforming. I actually want the land to be a little bit lower. Right now, I think we're at, it's way too high. 2, 4, 6, 7 meters above ground. That's going to look ridiculous if we try to stick some fishing harbors in there. So I want to lower the land, and we'll probably just do that throughout the whole patch here. Alright, so we've got the basic layout for this fishing area here, but before we continue, I want to show you what my plan is. And so we'll bounce over here to some screenshots I've taken of Google Earth, And you know, I looked for fish factories, fish markets around the world, and I've come up with this one. This is Peterhead Bay. I think it's in Ireland, and you can see there's a lot of warehouse type things, obviously some piers, there's some jetties here, a lot of interesting little nooks and crannies. I'm not sure how technical we'll get with that, but yeah, you can see there's a lot of stuff piled up on the docks. Here's another one from Spain. I think it's called Aviles, and you can see the railway coming in here, lots of parking, lots of big buildings, warehouse type things, ships parked. Obviously we don't have assets that we can use to replicate that, but that's okay. Looks like maybe some storage towers here. If we keep going, yeah, we see coal storage, we're seeing lots of boats. This one is, yeah, Aviles again. You've got your CrossFit gym, of course you need that in a fish factory. This one is Tsukiji Outer Market. I think this is Japan somewhere. Again, warehouse type buildings. This is actually right in looks like a residential area, some tall buildings. This is Bushan Fish Market, Japan again I believe. Long warehouses, we've got lots of roads, lots of parking. You're kind of getting the idea, right? We have rail coming in here. We've got lots of rail connections here, and so that's a general idea. This is another part of I forget which city in Japan this is, but really cool. And you can even see public transit coming in here, maybe a train type of station. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna do, and we'll try to use all of the assets that we have, fit those in, and it's a lot of technical work trying to fit it all in, but I'm just gonna do that partly off camera, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I want to take a quick break from this to tell you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm trying to measure everything out so that it fits. I've pre-built this, and I want it to look at least somewhat similar to what I have in my screenshot to my left side here. And so I've put in this seafood factory. Obviously it makes perfect sense to include something like this. And can we run this? We might as well run this. It makes perfect sense to include this in a build like this because it's going to be producing luxury goods. It needs fish and it needs plastics, which we can import from across the city or from out of the region. But I also want to measure this out properly, so I'm just going to get a few more things in here and make sure that everything fits. Cannot build on water. We are flooded. I don't see any water whatsoever. Let's try it again. Am I a little too crazy about precision? Perhaps, but I wanted it to be exactly where I wanted it. So, it pays to take the time to do it right. Now, let's fix up some of this key wall. I really don't know why it's popping up a meter, but I think we're gonna leave it alone because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I don't love that those are almost on top of each other, but it's not actually overlapping, is it? So we're gonna let it fly. Awesome. Lucky number 13. We have 13 fishing harbors in here. Well, technically 2 are algae farms and 1's a fish farm. So, and then we have the seaweed farm as well. So it's a nice mix of different types of uses. And yeah, I'm excited to get the rest of the buildings in. Let's see what should go in here. And you know what I'm thinking? Before we do anything else, I want to see these things stop complaining. And they're not going to do that until we have water and power. And in order to get that in, I need to actually get some roads connected, some railways. So we're gonna come all the way over here. And I think we're gonna start with this interchange here. We're building a new highway interchange, and that's gonna service this new area down here. And we're going to connect it up with some of the other communities in Kiev and in the Schengen cargo airport. So let's build a quick little interchange, and we'll get the railways in as well at the same time while we're at it. And just want to check the terrain. We're gonna make sure that we don't bump up too much. I think this should be fine, but we'll just keep an eye on that. Okay, we have a nice simple service interchange. It's all set up in the right direction, which I'm probably gonna have to demolish when I try to put the railways across, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, haha. And let's connect this up to the other communities here. So what I wanna do is head this straight along and connect to over here and there. Why don't we start from this end and see how it goes? I don't plan to build anything on here anytime soon, so I don't need to think about a connection here. So we can delete this, maybe widen this river a little bit. It looks a little tight. All right, now we have these two communities connected, these two arterials, I guess you call them. And I think we can get this, you know what, I kind of want to get the railway in first, so let's work on that. What we're gonna do, here's the plan. Okay, so we have this main rail line coming across the highway bridge here. We've also got this secondary line coming out from under the cargo airport, which is connected to the cargo rail yard. Those two will join somewhere on this side and then carry on. And then we have another rail line, which is the passenger line coming out here and just dead ending currently. I definitely want that to join as well. So the idea is I want to keep the rail lines, the highway, and the power lines as close as possible together. So we'll see what happens. Now we're gonna have to get a little bit tricky here because crossing this in vanilla, it's a little bit challenging. So let's see, we're gonna have to rebuild this highway a little bit. I don't care to pause it, we're just gonna do this live. Well, we got lucky with that one. It went perfectly across the river and it's nice and smooth. We don't need a high bridge at this location because this is not a navigable waterway. We're not putting ferries down here. But we have our passenger line connected. Did something wonky happen here? It's bouncing up just a little bit. I'm a perfectionist. We're gonna fix that. So that is our passenger rail on the left side. We've got one more connection to make into the cargo airport. Let's see if we can't make a nice sweeping curve here. We'll keep it elevated until we get across the highway. Let's do it. Actually, should it just cut the highway? It wouldn't be the most unrealistic thing in the world to do an at-grade crossing. Let's see how it feels. I do want to get the truss on the bridge there, so we're gonna just lower this a little bit. That's our little trick to get the truss to show up on the bridge. There it is, and we're gonna have to fight with the water for a second here. Pause it. Pretty happy with that. We've got a nice smooth connection on the passenger line, some beautiful bridges, nice sweeping arcs. It's all the roads and the rails are working together nicely. We're only using as much elevation as we need. We're coming right across here and doing as little imposition on the highway as we can. Yeah, it all kind of came out together nicely. So really happy with this, and we're only going as far as here. So let's get in the rest of this road. We're gonna have to build the railway yard before we connect the railway. So, but I do want to get this road connected, so we know where it's gonna go. It's gonna connect right into this arterial/collector. Let's check the heights. Not really much terrain. We do want to avoid a little bit of this here. And yeah, but otherwise I think we're just gonna stay as far as we can from the water. All right, we have road connections. Let's just quickly get in some power, and I think we can get back to building our fishery. We have power, now let's get some water in here. That is a heck of a long way to send, well, power for sure, but water even more so. I'm not sure if that's realistic. You civil engineers out there can tell me what you think. I'm guessing that's never gonna happen. They probably maybe would put some pipes underneath here. In fact, I think we might just do that for redundancy. You can tell me if that's realistic. Probably not, but well, it's gonna help us in the game. And I do want some of these other symbols to stop bugging me. I just can't handle that. So we're gonna maybe put some fishing lines in. We're gonna do some garbage. But before we do that, I actually want to get in some jetties and make it look a little bit more like a fishing area. So I'm gonna cause obviously a lot of problems with the water flooding. Here we go. Well, I'm glad I checked. So trying to get one more thing I want to fit in here, it's not working. So this has to adjust just a little bit. It's not ideal, but okay, we're gonna just move this quay wall and the jetty and the fishing harbor. No big deal. It was a squeeze, but I think we got it. I don't know if these jetties are kind of in the, or these, what do you call these, piers are in the way of each other. Let's hope they're fine. Let's just hope. I think it's fine. Okay, finally got that tweaked out to my heart's content, and now we can work on the jetties so we can work on the fishing lines. Yeah. Okay, we've got that pretty flat, which is what I'm going for. I'm not sure it's really that high enough, but yeah, why is it so low? Okay. Well, it's just flooding. I hope. I hope that's all it is. Let's check the terrain one more time. Yeah, that's way off. Let's fix that. It's a little bit wonky, but there's a point where perfection goes too far. So let's fix this. Yeah, I like that. And I don't think we're gonna put the jetty or the quay wall on the other side. I think we're gonna use something a little bit different. And it's gonna be something that I saw Imperator do with some rocks. So let's give it a try. See how my hand is. And now, because these rocks adjust with terrain height, we can come in with our leveling tool and just ever so carefully lower the terrain here until these rocks pop down into the water a little bit. All right, well, it looks passable. Wish it was a little bit wider, but that's what we got. I think on the other side, I know I'm going to continue with a shipyard over here, so we will continue with the quay wall on the other side, or at least we're going to attempt it. And of course, distance too short, so we'll just use a few rocks at the end of this jetty here. Alright, well that'll have to do, and I don't think it looks too bad. And wonderfully, we now have the ability to get our fishing lines in, and just missed a little water pipe here. And you know what, let's reduce the screaming, let's get a garbage recycling facility in here. I'm also going to set these warehouses to do what I want them to do. So this one is fill on plastics because this seafood factory needs the plastics. This one, I think we'll set it to empty, and this will be fish, just so we have somewhere to put the fish temporarily. Don't want it sitting in the warehouse for too long. And then we'll do a empty on the goods, commercial goods zone, commercial zone goods, so that the many of these fish factories which we're going to put in will have somewhere to put their wares also. And let's get the lines in. Alright, so we have our 3 shellfish harbors connected. We'll see how they do. The name of the game here is efficiency, so we're going to keep an eye on the efficiency. It'll take until one of these boats does a full loop to tell us what the efficiency is. If it's too low, it means we need a longer line, and if it's not, if the ship is racing back, then it's obviously too long. So what do we have here? Anchovies. Let's find our anchovies. And I'm gonna play a little trick with the water depth. So I want the boats to be as efficient as possible, which means we're going to turn our fish overlay on, and you can see that the anchovies are this orangey color. And so we're gonna pick a height that is the same, and we're gonna take it right up to the anchovy harbor, just so that there's no wasted movements here. And we'll just even bring it out a little bit more so that this thing has enough space to fish inside here. And you can see it's gonna be a little tight, but I think we'll have enough room to create an anchovy fishing spot, and I think we can even pull it out a little bit here. We're gonna hope that's long enough of a line for the efficiency's sake. And then salmon, let's find our salmon. Where are we putting this? So the closest patch of salmon is over here. We're gonna do the trick with the lowering of the terrain again. We'll make sure the terrain's at the exact height. By the way, if anyone knows how tuna works, let me know. There's really no tuna on the map. I think it has to do with water flow, speed, and depth. So I've played with it, I can't figure it out. But if you have some tips, let me know in the comments. Tuna's connected. What else have we got over here? Okay, shellfish, salmon, salmon. Perfect, let's get this done. So I really want to avoid the shipping lanes and crossing shipping cruise ships with fishing boats. So I might just do a little bit more dredging. Alright, so I'm hoping that's gonna do it. Obviously we've created some massive flooding, which is gonna take 10 years to go away, but you know what? It's really coming along. Why don't we, what do we want to do? Let's start putting in some of our other buildings, shall we? So I'm envisioning this as a kind of Asian themed area. Perhaps there were some Korean and Japanese immigrants that came to the area, started this fishing area, turned it into a massive industry. And so what better thing to do than to use some of the assets that we have from the modern Japan and the railroads of Japan and the Heart of Korea packs that we've got. Now there's some weird little, I don't know what you call that, clipping going on here. It's probably related to the unevenness of the terrain, but I think we can live with that. But let's continue to put in our buildings. Alright, so we've added another 5 of these fish factories, and I don't plan to stop there. I've got a lot of other things I want to get in. So let's maybe start, now that the water's cleared, working on this side of the road. Now this building is absolutely just for show. It's not going to serve any function because it's collecting ore. So I'm going to set it to empty because it won't change the look of it if it's empty or full. But I think it works really cool on the waterfront. It seems like that's what we want, is a bunch of warehouses, right? And parking. Always parking. Now we're going way back in time and using an asset that I think works actually really well in a fish factory area. It is a semiconductor plant, but it could be a fish factory, right? With all the office space included. So going way back in time to the high-tech pack, and I don't know if I want it facing this way. Yeah, I guess it's fine. We'll leave it as is. Sneak in a little plaza action there. And you know what, we've got a nice big space here. Let's get in one of the bigger fish factory buildings, which is this fish market. It's not really going to serve a purpose here. It gives some kind of health and wellness bonus in the green zone here. Obviously we're going to have no residential in this area, so it's just for show. Just for show, guys. But I like it. Here's another building that I think really works well. This is the local register building from the Modern Japan pack from way back when, and I think this is going to serve us well with some office space. You know, I'm just noticing that the light is hitting the backs of the buildings here, so let's just adjust. There we go, better view. Ooh, I've been waiting for a long time to place this building. This is the warehouse with railway connection. Super cool. I'm not sure how functional it will be, but here's my theory. We're gonna be producing a lot of goods from these fish factories, commercial zones goods, and so that's what we're gonna put in here. And we're also going to set it to empty because we don't want these things sitting around. We certainly don't want anybody trying to fill it up. So that's all for export, and it's export either out of the region or into our city, which, you know, is always wanting goods. More. What else can we get in here? Let's go and finish this road. I think we probably can't cut this rail at this angle. If we come off one, we can. If we come off two, maybe that's even better. We'll add a connection here to the roundabout. I'm hoping we can squeeze in one more little building here. Yeah, why not? Why not indeed? Oh, and I forgot a fishing route, so let's just quickly put that in. What is this? Salmon? Check. And connected. Keep going. Alright, so we've got most of the big beats in here. I think what we're going to do now is start putting in a few services, and then we're going to get over to our rail line and start on that. Or rather, a railway yard. Here we go. Alright, so maybe I've gone a little hog wild with the parking, but I think in an area like this it would kind of be justified. There would be a lot of employees, especially in this building, and all in the factories, so let's see how many people actually use those, and let's keep going with anything we missed. Amazing. Okay, it is time for our rail yard. This is going to be a massive operation. It's going to be a lot of switches and side tracks and whatnot. And so I want to make sure no unfortunate incidents with the terrain heights. I can already see that's going to be a problem. So let's just come in here and smooth her out. So we're going to use my absolute favorite rail yard, which is the Airports DLC. Cargo train station. That's under the cargo, air cargo. And I think, let's see, where do we want to face this? We'll just kind of center it on these buildings. And I actually want to get a second one in here. But I want to do this in a way that allows me just the right amount of rails. Because there will be a lot of them. So here we go. Let's see if I can do this properly on the first try. I think this is gonna look pretty sweet. So let's see, did I do that properly that will allow me to have the rails continue along? Hope so. Alright, it doesn't like what I'm doing here, so I'm gonna have to delete a couple of roads, I think, in order to get this in. Ooh, I like that a lot. I think that's gonna function very well. You know, as soon as we get the rail connected, it will function, so let's get on that. Let's do it. I think I connected that to the cargo line. Yeah, did I? Yeah, it's cargo. Okay, cool. Wonderful. So we should be functional now with this rail yard. Ooh, I like it a lot. Okay, obviously we got some detailing to do. We got some tall trees to take out, but this is the general idea of the place. And so we're also going to need a little bit of an office space for these guys. So I think what we'll do is we'll build a little administrative building area over here. All right, so clearly there's no oil here. These are oil industry buildings, but I just like them because they seem like they could be a workers building for the rail yard, and we'll put in a few more little assets that I think will help it really come to life. Here we go. We're gonna do a little fun thing with our monorail tracks. This is going to be the way we fuel our diesel trains. We're gonna go right across the road here. We need our angle. And there we have it. That's our pipe for diesel fuel coming right from the storage tanks over here. And yeah, it looks like they're filling that up. We don't want to spend all that money, so let's keep it empty. It's just for decoration, guys. We don't need you to fill that up. All right, how are we doing over here? I think this looks phenomenal. We've got one more connection to make over here. I notice this building is just kind of in the way of the straightaway here, so we might just need to curve this in, and we can very easily do that. I might want to actually have one more connection so that trucks don't have to come all the way through here. We'll use a big road. That looks pretty good, but I do want this train track to curve a little bit sooner and meet up with this track so we don't have a second crossing over that road. All right, I think we're connected. That looks amazing. The trains are coming in and out already. This one is 67% full. Before I forget, I want to rename these so when we click on the trains, we know where they're going to and from. Ah, look at all this cargo getting shipped out. I'm sure that's full of fish or maybe goods. And this one's pretty empty, but well, 47 is not bad. And how's this one doing? So far, we don't have much action, 1% full, but we'll see how it goes. Things just need to catch up. I think this one here doesn't have enough fish. Clearly, we do have enough fish. We have like 13 harbor skies. This one is telling me low fishing route efficiency, so we're gonna fix that. Let's take a second here. Okay, so we figured out why that had a low fishing route efficiency. It was because I thought that was a salmon harbor, and so I had it going through the salmon fields, but this should fix it now. All right, what else are we gonna do next? I wanna come back here and I wanna rethink this area a little bit. It's kind of a mess, and I think we can do a lot better. So let's clean this up and put all the services together. Let's do it. Okay, so I rethinked a little bit of this area, putting all these services in the same area, gave them a lot of parking, and we added this park maintenance building as well as a road maintenance because we will need that in this neighborhood. And what better place than the industrial area? I'm also gonna come over here and jazz this up a little bit. It's looking a little lackluster, so let's do something with it. Okay, yeah, just popped in some few amenities here, give the workers a little bit of a basketball court and a little restaurant over here. And I think that's it. What's next? Let's take a look. All right, well, the next thing I want to do is maybe a little bit of detailing in this area. I want to get this this train switching yard detailed up, this little area. Maybe fill it up with trees, we'll see. And you know what, while we're at it, let's crank this up to 150. It's hurting for plastics. It shouldn't be. We've got a full warehouse of plastics here. I mean, I don't get it. The freight trucks are not dropping anything off. Wondering if maybe these guys need more freight trucks. They might not have enough workers, so we'll let it play out and it should be fine. We'll keep running it at the top speed so we get some more money too. Alright, so we fenced all that in. We used the new concrete ROJ fence. Now that's gone into the ground quite significantly. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's try to fix that up a little bit. So I wanted to check this out at night, and it's looking a little dark. I mean, I love that we have these giant lights here in some places, but there's not that many of them, and as a rail yard, I think we'd have a lot more lights. So let's find our brightest lights, and let's throw a few in there to make it look like more of an industrial area that's lit up. That is significantly better. That's a lot of light. Thank you, Stadium Lights. That comes in handy. I wish we had something more industrial, but hey, it works. It's super, super bright. And so let's go back to daytime and see what we're working on next. Well, I think the only thing left to do is detail, so let's get working on some trees and things like that. All right, I think I'm very happy with this area. This is a real industrial powerhouse. We've added some capacity to our region. We've got fish, folks. We've got a lot of fishing boats running around here. We've got a lot of factories turning that fish into, I guess, cans of fish. We've got a rail infrastructure of a beautiful rail yard with 2 cargo yards over here. Lots of activity. Traffic is fine. We're doing okay as yet. Now, I know I promised a shipyard in this area in this episode, but this has become a really long episode, so we're going to break this into 2 parts, and we're going to get that done in the next episode, which I hope to put out very, very quickly. I know there's only, probably by the time I post this, there's only a few days before Cities Skylines 2 comes out, and I fully intend to switch over to that. So this might be our second last episode, and it's been a slice, guys. It's been an amazing journey. You know, there's part of me that thinks I probably will not be giving up this series, at least just yet. I'm just having too much fun with it, and so we might be doing a little bit more work in this area. I can see a bit of a density over here. I can see a marina up in here. I can see all kinds of single-family homes and something on this island. I got ideas still. I can't seem to let it go. So we'll see how much I get into Cities Skylines 2, but I'm kind of ready to keep going with this. So let me know in the comments what you think. Should I put my time into Cities Skylines 2, or should I stick with this series and keep it going? So it's been a pleasure. It always is. I just love doing this. I'm building anyway. I'm happy you're along for the ride with me. If you like this, please hit the like button. It helps me grow the reach of the channel. And if you want to know about new episodes coming out, just click that notification bell, and you'll be advised when I've got a new episode, whether it's for Cities Skylines 1 or Cities Skylines 2. Thank you. It's been an honor, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks a lot, and see you later.